A lot of fans. It's his first time in Queens. Baruch Hashem giving a shiur. I'm sure, Rabbi, you came to Queens in the airport, but giving a shiur, I guess it's the first time. That's the first of many. I want to give a round of applause to my dear friend Rabbi Yirmiyahu show organizer. He reminded me that I told him we want to hire him for Chazaq. He's like, Rabbi, I've been working for Chazaq since I'm 10 years old. It's true, he's been active, but I think after tonight's successful event, I think we're going to hire him officially. So we'll discuss the details later. But tonight's shiur will be dedicated to Ilu Nishmat, David ben Zina, Zina bat Yafa, Menashe ben Nekadam, Tomer bat Yushuo, Zev ben Suryo, Zulai Zoya bat Nekadam, Pinchas ben Chana Roch, Hashem Tenechem began Edem, their neshamot shenah ben Aliyah, Amen. It's also dedicated for the refuah shlema, the complete recovery of Yoshiyahu Yosef ben Zavi, Amen. I'm so happy to see people in person, Baruch Hashem, as the world is still recovering from COVID. It's great to see you all in person. Chazaq has been organizing shiurim non-stop, but unfortunately virtually. And we're happy to be Baruch Hashem back in full force. And we encourage you all, every single one of you listening right now, to be a mover and a shaker, to make things happen, to organize events, to organize shiurim, to initiate programs. And of course, we all know that the main mission of the organization, and Rabbi, I need you to know this, that over here in Queens, and I'm sure all of you young guys and girls know this, there's over 10,000 Jewish kids that do not get a Jewish education. What that means is that they unfortunately go to the public school system and they do not know about Torah, they do not know about Shema Yisrael, they do not know about Olam. So we're on a mission. No child left behind. Every single Jewish child deserves a Jewish education. And we can't do this ourselves. It's not a one-man band. It's not a one-man situation. We need an army to B'ezras Hashem change this. Baruch Hashem, since we started this No Child Left Behind initiative 4 years ago, Baruch Hashem, thank you Hashem, over 1,000 children have already been transferred to Yeshivat Yishtabach Shem Alad. But we cannot be satisfied. We cannot be satisfied. I know every single one of you have a family member, you have a friend, you have a neighbor, or maybe a co-worker that has kids in public schools. Public school is not a place for Jewish kids. Have them reach out to Chazaq. We have a whole dedicated PS3 public school yeshiva division, and they're going to work Yomam V'Layla day and night to make sure this September school year, this child will be placed into yeshiva. And if, Chas v'Shalom, God forbid, for whatever reason, a yeshiva doesn't work out for any of these children, Chazaq has after school programs, we have Sunday school programs, we have Teens Division programs for boys and girls, we have a lounge across the street at the Queen Jewish Center where we take them and teach them about the basics. So once again, please, don't let this message go in one ear and out the other ear. Let's make a difference. Let's B'ezras Hashem bring the Geulah. We just had Tisha B'Av pass, and the rabbis tell us that every year that the Beit HaMikdash is not rebuilt, it's as if we destroyed it. Not that they destroyed it many years ago, but it is because of us. So let's work on having Ahavat Chinam, loving our fellow brothers and sisters unconditionally. Just love them for the sake that they're Jewish. And B'ezras Hashem, we should be Zocher, we should merit to see the Geulah Shlema. It should come speeding in our days. Amen ve'amen. I want to just welcome our guest, Rabbi Yirmiyahu Cohen is a renowned rabbi born in Gibraltar. And Baruch Hashem, he's been involved with Mikdash Melech in Yerushalayim for many years. He was studying there as well. Baruch Hashem, the rabbi is also very much involved in various different seminaries in Eretz Yisrael, the Holy Land. And Baruch Hashem, I see many of the students are here. Chas v'Shem, Baruch Hashem. We encourage you to make sure that sign-in sheets will be going around. Please make sure to sign in so we can notify you about future events and programs and lectures. Make sure you're part of the WhatsApp groups. If you have something called, we don't encourage it, but if you have something called, social media. If you have one of those things, please make sure to like, share, forward, whatever it's called, tweet, whatever all this stuff is. I don't have it, but I hear that it's a little bit popular. Make sure to follow Chazaq with a Q, Strengthening Queens. And one more reminder is that the middle school letter, the heart of the organization is A and Z, A to Z. We want to do everything and anything to strengthen the community. And once again, we need you guys to get involved. The young guys, we have some positions available for work. We have positions available, obviously, for volunteers are always welcome. Position which is in the Geulah Shlema Radio. Amen. Wherever it is my honor, and I ask all of you to please rise and let's give a round of applause as we call upon Rabbi Yirmiyahu Cohen Shlita. Thank you.
What's the name again? Refuah Shalama to Gabriel ben Tamar, Irena Ista Bat Zineda. If I said it wrong, please excuse, I'm not Bukharian from birth, though I can probably crack enough Bukharian jokes to keep you busy the whole night. First of all, who? David ben Osnat. First of all, I'd like to thank, on the boys' side, Benjamin Yakubov, for basically organizing everything on the men's side. I'd like to thank Naomi Matayev for basically organizing everything on the girls' side and actually picking me up from Deal, New Jersey and driving me all the way here through the traffic, bumper to bumper. So, Baruch Hashem, I've been privileged to teach in Mikdash Melech in Yerushalayim for the last 16 years. And a few years ago, I began teaching in SEM. How that story began is a long story. But I remember the first time, with boys, if they don't listen, I would just put them on the floor, punch them and say, listen. But I don't think that goes with girls. At least I don't think so. Okay? So I was trying to get a whole bunch of 60 Talmud Devorah girls to be quiet. How do you do that? I don't know. Impossible. So I said to them one line. Whoever can guess where I'm from, I guarantee to you a shidduch. All of a sudden, 60 American teenagers, before cell phones, when they actually spoke, not just texted, were like, oh, they got so nervous, they couldn't talk anymore, right? So, Baruch Hashem, nobody guessed. Nobody guessed. Because if they did, then they would have had a shidduch by a long time ago. So, yes, I'm from Gibraltar, just in case you want to know. And it's really a pleasure to come all the way here. So, somebody says to me, how do you get all these people to come to listen to your class? I said, I don't think they advertise it as a class. They said this is going to be a singles event. And once it's called a singles event, you don't need no classes, no sushi, just come, just singles event, we're all good. I want to start with a joke. Now, please forgive me if I, in the middle of class, make fun of Bukharians all the time. It's nothing personal. It's just that the girls and the boys like to call me Rabbi Cohen of, and as a result, that gives me the license to make fun of everybody in this room. Okay. There was once, I heard this joke yesterday, there was once a couple which didn't have a car. And one day, they decided for their 25th wedding anniversary, the silver anniversary, they're buying a car. The husband says, I want a pickup truck. And the wife says, I don't want a pickup truck. I want a Ferrari, a sports car, convertible, the fast ones. So they're having a whole machloket argument. He says, I want the truck. She wants the sports car. And they were having a whole machloket until they decided, that's it, we can't decide on which car, we buy no car. So they bought no car. Soon afterwards, it was the wife's birthday. So the husband says to his wife, honey, I decided I wanted to buy you a birthday gift. Ask me whatever you want. I promise you whatever you want, I'll buy. Just don't tell me exactly what it is. Just give me a hint. And I'll chap. So the wife says, okay, I want something that goes from 0 to 200 in less than 4 seconds. And he says, you know what, honey? 100%. Granted. I'm going to buy you something. You'll have it by tonight. Something that goes from 0 to 200 in less than 4 seconds. All right. Sounds exciting. She's waiting for tonight, for her birthday, 12 o'clock. She's waiting, 12 o'clock. The husband says, okay, honey, come. And she's like nervous, walking down the stairs. She's expecting a pink sports car. And she walks to the entrance of the house. And she says, where's the car? She says, what car? He says, there's your present. Bathroom scales. Go from 0 to 200 in less than 4 seconds. Anyway, that was a girl joke. We'll do the boy joke later. So when I decided to give this class, I decided to base it on FAQs. What's an FAQ? Oh, frequently asked questions. Now, I wasn't sure if I was going to give tonight a dating class or a marriage class. Was I going to give the dating class in Great Neck or the marriage class in Queens? I decided to do one big challenge. And I'm going to introduce the whole subject with the following question. And this question is going to be crucial to understand marriage and dating. The question is as follows. Rabbi, how do I know that the person that I'm dating is the person destined to me? Maybe there's somebody better out there. I get this question asked about 3 or 4 times a month. How do I know that this girl in front of me that I've dated the last 3 months, or this boy that I've dated the last 3 months, is the boy or the girl destined for me? Maybe there's somebody better for me out there. That's the question of all questions. And before I answer that question, I'm going to say one thing. This question is probably the number one thing which will prevent people from getting married, and will be the number one reason, the number one factor for wrecking marriages. Because if somebody's going to think, I'm not going to get engaged with this boy or this girl because maybe there's somebody better out there. You know something? There's always somebody better out there. There's always somebody richer, more handsome, more pretty, smarter. That's always the fact. There's always somebody better out there. So if you think that you can't get married because you might be somebody better out there, you probably will not get married. And if you do get married, even though that you think there's somebody better out there, your marriage will probably not succeed. Because if you think somebody better out there, so your husband one day comes home and he doesn't bring in so much money, doesn't learn so much, doesn't create so much, not so much good midot, there's somebody better out there. Or he comes home, my wife doesn't cook as well as she, or as pretty as her, and then all of a sudden it becomes a whole thing, somebody better out there. That's how marriages get wrecked. So we have to understand that the person that you get engaged to, the person you get married to, is the person destined for you. That person is the best person for you. There's nobody better out there. Because if you didn't get married to that person, it means there's nobody better out there. That's the most important thing. And if we think at any point in time there's somebody better out there, it's a poisonous thought. It could destroy engagements, and it could destroy marriages because we're always going to be thinking, maybe I should have got better. Second FAQ is, Rabbi, I don't get along with my wife. What do I do? Okay? Or let's switch it to the boy version, girl version. Rabbi, I don't get along with my husband. Now usually when the boy asks me, it's more like, Rabbi, I don't get along with my wife. With the girl, my husband, right? It's a bit much more dramatic. By the boys, it's a question. By the girl, it's a whole drama. But whatever. When you guys get married, we'll know exactly what I mean. Now, everybody knows that I love giving parenting advice and I love giving dating advice. I don't like giving marriage advice. Why not? Because once a person has started a marriage and the marriage is not going in the right direction, it takes a lot to fix it. However, so once you start a marriage and it's going in the wrong direction, to fix a broken marriage or a marriage going in the wrong direction is very hard. What I'm trying to do tonight is not give you etzot, advice, and ideas how to fix a marriage that's gone off the rails, but rather I'm going to try and give you etzot, how to get your marriage on the right path from the very, very beginning, so that you don't need to fix anything. I'm going to try and bring you the prevention before the cure, so that you don't even need a cure. There was once, I'm going to try and say a joke every 5 minutes, keep everybody awake. There was once a man who got married, miskin, and he spent, every time he had any excuse to complain about his wife, he said, oh, my wife is not a cook, she is noisy, my in-laws always complaining. And his friend would always hear this guy complain the whole time. It's like a minhag. Us men think that we have a commandment to complain about our wives the whole time. Anyway, this guy was complaining the whole time, mamash the whole time. One day, his friend says, what do you do every Sunday morning? He says, every Sunday morning? Why are you asking me? He says, every Sunday morning, we can't find you, you disappear. He says, every Sunday morning, I watch my wedding video. Wow. Every Sunday morning, you spend 2 hours watching a wedding video? He says, yes, every Sunday morning, since after Shana Rishona, I watch my wedding video. But I thought you had marriage problems. People who have marriage problems don't watch their wedding video. He says, I watch it on rewind. That way I'm always looking backwards, take off the ring. I'm not married, right? That's how he would look at his wedding video on the rewind. So I'm going to try, B'ezrat Hashem, to work on the wedding forward. Chazal, the Gemara in Masechet Sotah, Daf Bet Amud Aleph, tells us, Kasher lezavgan ki kriyat yam suf. Marriage is compared to the splitting of the sea. Marriage is compared to kriyat yam suf. It's, for Hashem, it's as hard, kaviyachol, to get husband and wife married as it is to split the yam suf. When I first saw this Gemara in Sotah Daf Bet, I said, I'm missing something over here. Isn't marriage supposed to be unification? Marriage is when two sides unite. Kiryat Yam Suf is a split, right? So if I want to compare marriage, which is unification, I don't compare it to a split. Marriage is supposed to be unification, not a split. That's this question I had many, many years ago. And I realized that the secret of a good marriage, the secret of a successful marriage, is realizing the men and women are different. The men and women are different. When husband and wife want to be the whole time together, they want to do the same things, share the same everything. They think it's good, but sometimes, Kiryat Yam Suf, in order to be able to maintain a good marriage, you have to know that men and women have to be split. They are different. For example, we know that in Judaism we know that this terminology called opposites attract. Opposites attract usually means the husband is loud and the wife is quiet, And nonetheless, that's how they get along. If he is extroverted, that means loudish, and she is introverted, those two things people think don't get along, but definitely do get along. But I say, the husband and wife are diametrically opposed. That means very different. Okay? For example, when it comes to colors. Colors is one big difference between men and women. By men, we only have red, green, yellow, and blue. That's all we have. By women, there's, and white, I forgot. But it's not sure if it's a color or not. Okay? By women, there is shades. No glasses, shades. There is red, off-red, shiny red, all kinds of reds. There was off-white, off-pink, off-brown, I don't know, all these things of the jokes, right? All the colors, right? But it's like a big deal for the women. I remember that a few years ago, the first time I came to America, Ira Kodesh, I came from Yerushalayim. You walk into a makeup store in Yerushalayim, and there's a little corner with about 5 types of makeup, 3 types of eyeliner, 2 blushes, and that's it, lipstick. That's in Yerushalayim. And if you go HL, you can go to maybe the Canyon, or you can go to the old city, outside the old city, Mamila, and there's a few more stores. Yalla, good. I asked my wife, what can I buy for you in America that is classy, that is good, doesn't weigh? She says, you know what? She gave me a list of makeup to buy. So I'm like, okay, how hard can this be? How hard can this be? How hard can it be? I still have nightmares till today. I walk into Macy's.
Oh my God.
Now, well, yeah, I walk into Macy's. Now, forgive me for being a total ignoramus. I walk into Macy's and I like, okay, I'm buying makeup. So the girl, the G behind the counter says, how can I help you, sir? And I say, where's the makeup section? And she says, follow me. I'm like, following this girl who, miskena, I guess didn't have enough money to buy clothing. I'm walking behind her for like 5 minutes. I get to the women's section, and by then I've had enough. I've just had enough. I says, you know what? Thank you, lady. I'm okay. I can deal with this. I can deal with this. My wife says she wanted blusher and this and lipstick, this color, that color, and the cream. I'm like, Ribono Shel Olam. I start looking. About 15 minutes later, she comes back and she says, sir, can I help you? I says, yes. Matter of fact, my wife asked me for black blusher. She says, which color black? Which thin? I don't know. And then she tells me, and then I say, oh, my wife wanted lipstick. She says, you want MAC, you want Ralph Lauren, I don't know what the names are. And the boy didn't even know it's a joke, right? And I don't know what to choose. And there's red and off red and pink red and strawberry red and I say to the lady, it's okay. I have Amazon on my phone. I'm just going to Amazon whatever she wants. I send my wife the link of Amazon. Choose whatever you want. I'll put it into my app. It comes straight to the house in deal. That's enough for me. Colors, we don't even know what colors are. Then there's timekeeping. Timekeeping. The husband says, okay, honey, we're going out tonight at 8 o'clock. Comes 8 o'clock. Where's the wife? Oh, she's having a shower. And 8:15, she's still having a shower. 8:25, she's putting on her shoes. And the guy's downstairs waiting, 8:45, and where is she? Oh, I was just putting on the last touches. I don't know how it is. When your wife says, I'm by the last touches, take a seat. It's going to take a long time. It's going to take a long time. When I first had this with my wife, so I was always upset about it. I thought maybe my wife doesn't know how to keep time. And then I learned a Gemara in Kiddushin. And the Gemara says that mitzvot aseh she'azeman grama, not my phone, mitzvot aseh she'azeman grama, mitzvot which are based on time, women are patur from. Why are they patur from? Because they can't keep time. So whenever you guys get married and your wife is not on time, it's fine. She's not supposed to be on time. She was born late. Then comes shopping. But I'm not going to talk about shopping because we all know about the shopping business, that women are always shopping. Right? And then the wives will say, okay, but the men, what are we doing all day? So we are all day eating, lying on the couch, reading, right? So the women, we are different. So if you think you're going to marry a boy or a girl that's going to be exactly the same as you, you're going to share all the things together, it doesn't happen like that. What I say is, expect her to be different, expect him to be different, respect the differences, and bridge the gap. If you're able to work on that, then you have the potential for good marriage. One of the most important tools, one of the most important midot, attributes, a person can have in order to have a successful marriage is called compromise. It's called compromise. Like I told you, I don't usually do Shalom Bayit businesses because normally it's too complicated for my patience. But during the pandemic, I was a bit more bored than usual, a bit more. And a couple says, can we come? And I don't usually do couples, I'm not really qualified for this. I said, Rabbi Cohen, if we don't go to you, we're going to nobody. I'm like, okay, fine, if that's the case, yalla, come. They came, and they were fighting about everything, and then I said, you know what? I'm not a therapist or a counselor or anything like that. But what I am, let's make a compromise. And we got a piece of paper and we spent an hour and a half compromising. And she compromised on how much she spent. He compromised how much he let her spend. He compromised on how much he ate. She compromised how much she let him eat. And then eventually, they said that, wow, it was so simple. And Baruch Hashem, for many, many months, they were able to get along quite well because they compromised. If we compromise, there's nobody right. In marriage, there's nobody right. I'll give you an example always. Let's say that you are from the Bukharan community. Just let's say. And you have, now, please forgive me if I say this wrong, but every Friday night, you have to have pluf. Is that right? Bash. Okay, fine. You have to have something finishing with ov. Okay. So you have to have bash. Yofi. And if you don't have bash, it's almost like you did not keep Shabbat. Then comes the boy. He comes to a Moroccan house. And in the Moroccan house, we don't know what bash is besides bashing our kids. We don't know what bash is. What do? We have fish. So Friday night, the first week a Bukharian guy and a Moroccan girl get married, which is a miracle in itself. Really, like a Moroccan and Bukharian getting married together, either they're both deaf, blind, or dumb, right? But they get married, and then the first Friday afternoon they're having a fight. Should we have bash or fish? Fish or bash? And you know what? There's a whole argument. Fish is better, bash is better, fish is better, bash is better. But you know what? Nothing is better, both are good. Sometimes people think there's somebody right and wrong in the couple. No. You know what? Many, many times both of you are right. So you know what? Let's do 1 week bash, 1 week fish. That goes? Yalla. You make a compromise. Compromise is probably the greatest tool. You do not need a therapist. You do not need to be an expert. Just say, what are we arguing about? Let's just compromise. 2, appreciation. Appreciation. And soon we're going to see what are the responsibilities. What's appreciation? Appreciation is when Hashem created the world, He created Adam HaRishon. Adam HaRishon was in this world for X amount of time, and he was bored. He did not know what to do. So Hashem says, not a problem, I'll bring you a friend. He created Chava. They were together for about 25 minutes. He got hungry. So he wanted to eat. She gave him from the apple, and we know the rest of the story. When Hashem asked Adam HaRishon, what happened? Why did you do what you did? He says, it's the G you gave me. He didn't say the word G, right? It's the girl you gave me. It's her fault. So Hashem said to Adam HaRishon, the Gemara says in Avodah Zarah, I gave you a friend. I gave you a companion. And what do? You complain. Where's your hakarat hatov? So the Gemara says in Avodah Zarah Daf Daled that the main chet of Adam HaRishon wasn't so much the eating of the apple, but rather the fact that he wasn't appreciative of his wife. That is the lack of hakarat hatov. We think that's a chet Adam HaRishon, a lack of hakarat hatov. We think that our wives, that our husbands have to do things for us, and we're not obligated to compliment them and to thank them and to be appreciative. The answer is that we must. If we want to have a successful marriage, if we want to be able to be a happy, vibrant marriage, with happy, vibrant, healthy, appreciative kids, if you have one midah you want to pass down, appreciation, appreciation, appreciation. Now people think that I don't have to show appreciation if they have to do for me something. If I have a housekeeper, as they say in this country, I have a housekeeper, and I pay her anyway, why should I thank her? The answer is, if that's your hashkafa, if that's how you live life, you only thank when you think that somebody does for you something that you didn't deserve, then Habibi, that's not appreciation. You will not appreciate life, you will not be happy. But if you thank people for everything and you appreciate people for everything, then everybody loves to do things when they're recognized and when they're appreciated and when they feel that they're doing something right. I'm just going to touch on this. What are the responsibilities of the husband and the wife? Now I'm probably going to get into a lot of trouble over here. Because you'll see soon. Okay, you'll soon see. What is the responsibility of the husband and wife? I call it CCC. CCC means the wife has to deal with the children. Children begins with a C. The wife has to do the cooking, not pomegranate. Cooking starts with C. The wife has to do the cleaning. Cleaning starts with C. C, C, C. That's her part. Now, I have two versions to what the husband's CCCs are. The first CCC is whatever your wife says, say C, C, C. That's number one. Because if you always say yes to your wife, by the way, boys, C means yes, right? If you always say yes to your wife, you're guaranteed Shalom Bayit. That's one. But what are the real C's of the husband? C is cash. Give her cash or credit card. Yeah. C, you have to go to class so that you actually grow in Torah. You have to go to class. And what's the last C? Complaints. Husbands love complaining. If you ever see a man complaining, oh, he's married. Okay, push it. So we have CCC, cleaning, children and cooking, cash, class, and complaining. Which reminds me about my Shalom Bayit joke. Why is Shalom Bayit called Shalom Bayit? So, one pirush is that if the husband and wife spend too much time together, they start to bicker, they start to fight, and they start to have lack of Shalom Bayit. So you want to have Shalom Bayit? say once in a while to the house, Shalom Bayit, and go to class, go to shul, go to work. Don't spend too much time together. That's Shalom Bayit. 2. We go back to funny boy. We go back to the original thing. This is like the conversation between the wife and husband about 10 times a day, every day. She's in the mall. Where else, right? And she's shopping. What else is she doing, right? So she says, "Hi, honey. I love you. I appreciate you." Boys, whenever your wife calls you with a nice, sweet voice, "Hi, honey. I love you. I appreciate you," it's like a pretext to "I want to buy." So, if that happens, your wife says, "Hi, honey. I love you. I appreciate you. I want to buy." What do you say back to her? Bayit. Shalom Bayit. If you want to have shalom, let her buy it. Now you got it. We move on. We move on to the third part of the thing. So the boys over here are like, "Rabbi, you're always siding with the girls section. First of all, I have to leave the house. I have to buy it. What is it? What it's left for me?" So I said, what do we boys do? Eat. That's our thing. You give a husband food, good food, he's a good husband. So how does that fit into Shalom Bayit? We can split the word Shalom Bayit into 3. Shalom, buy, and eat. You have Shalom, that means he leaves the house, he tells her buy, she tells him eat, Shalom Bayit, we have perfect marriage. Now, FAQ number 3. I'm going to bring the example of a girl because of the story I'm going to bring down. Should the wife always agree with her husband? So there are 3 options. She should always agree, never agree, or sometimes agree. I'm going to tell you a crazy story that I heard on the plane from Yerushalayim, Ira Kodesh, Mamash Ira Kodesh, to JFK. I'm on the plane, so Motzei Tisha B'Av, I downloaded a whole bunch of Hebrew shiurim on YouTube so that I can listen to it on the plane. So I listened to a class on this 11-hour flight, which was very long. There was a class which stood out me'al any other class. It says, once a man, we're going to call him Moses. Nice, good Jewish name. Moses survived the Holocaust. When he was 5 years old, he went from the Eastern Europe. 1945, he survived the Holocaust. He got on a boat all the way to United States, New York. He landed in New York, and the first thing he did was, he said, Hashem, when I was in Eastern Europe, you abandoned me. When I'm in America, I'm abandoning you. I had all my family, I lost all my family, I'm abandoning you. Moses, 1945, was 5 years old. He goes to America, they're sent in some absorption center, some orphanage, and Moses is determined to succeed. True story. Moses at age 19 goes to college, right? He learns to be a good Bukharian thing, a diamond guy, or he wants to be an accountant, right? All the good Bukharian thing is, he goes to college. 5 years in college, he leaves at age 25. The year is 1965. He has abandoned God. No kippah, no mitzvot, no nothing. And one day he meets a girl, and she happens to be Jewish miraculously, and they date. And one day Moses tells, let's call her Rachel. Moses tells Rachel, I'd like to marry you. She says, okay. on one condition. What's the condition? That in our house, we don't have a semblance of Judaism. No Torah, no mitzvot, no Shabbat, no Brit Milah, no mikveh, no nothing. She says, wherever you go. I agree. And they get married. And this is Be'erech in 1965, 1966. They get married. And of course, they can't have a child straight away because you have to wait until you finish college. You have to wait until you make money. You have to wait until you have a nice house. Be'erech 1970 something, they have the first boy. This first boy was born. We're going to call this first boy Joseph. No Brit Milah, no mitzvot, no Shabbat, no semblance of being Jewish. The father, when Joseph becomes 13, in the year 1983 or so, he tells his son, I want to buy you a special present for your 13th birthday. Now, Joseph has no idea why 13 is special. He doesn't know. But if the father wants to buy him a special present, we don't ask questions, right? You give me presents, faddal, they say in Yiddish. I take it. So he's offered he says, the father says, come with me this coming Sunday. I'm going to buy you anything you want in the whatever, in the mall, in the street, whatever. And on Sunday, the son's really excited. He wakes up on Sunday morning and he goes to downtown to the store. He goes into the bicycle store. Now, in 1983-4, there wasn't any cell phones. No video games, not even Tetris. There was nothing to do with that. Not even cell phones, lo alenu, right? And he goes into the bicycle store. He looks at the bicycles, big, small, mountain bike, racing bike, cycling bike, all the bikes you could imagine. And he walks out, he tells his father, I don't want a bike. Skateboard. Looks at all the skateboards in the store, no skateboard that he likes. He's walking from the bike store, through the skateboard store, the bookstore, and then he walks past a Judaica store. Humongous stores all around. There's a small Judaica store. So Joseph says, hey Dad, I want to go in here. Moses tells Joseph, hey, we have more stores to go to. Nice toy stores, bicycles, skateboards. We're not going to walk into this Judaica store. It's all dusty and old. Okay. The son says, Dad, it's my birthday. I want to go in here. He goes in. And the father's like, why of all stores he wants to walk into a Judaica store? And he walks in. And he looks around. He goes to the end of the store. He sees a cabinet. In that cabinet were beautiful Chanukiahs. Gold, silver, all kinds of beautiful Chanukiahs. And the son says, Daddy, what is that? Moses says, I don't know, some branch. So the son is like, okay. And then he goes to the edge of the store. There's a cabinet. In that cabinet, there's a Chanukiah that looks like it's 200 years old. It's made out of copper. It's made a bit of leather. There's a bit of wood. It's not exactly the crown jewels. The son is staring at this old Chanukiah, very old Chanukiah. And the boy says, Daddy, I want that item. So the father says, hey, I came to buy you something beautiful, something nice, something friendly, something toy. I'm not going to buy you that item. It's older than who knows who. The boy says, I want it. The father says, I don't want to buy you that. He says, Daddy, but I want it. Then the salesman comes and says, you can't buy it. He says, why not? That item was handmade in Auschwitz, and it's the most expensive item in our store. I don't think you can afford it. You telling me I can't afford it? You tell a Jew that you can't buy this. I want it. How much? You can't afford it. I just can afford it, right? Try telling your parents. No, I can't go to yeshiva next year because you can't afford it. Me can't afford it. You know how many diamonds I sell every day, right? Or Sam, right? So good. Either way, The salesman says, you want to buy it? No problem. $2,000. This was Be'erich in the year 1984. $2,000 was a lot of money. The father says, no problem, $2,000, take. But I'm telling you, the salesman tells the father, Moses, this item, you have to take it in the cabinet very carefully. If it breaks, there's no guarantees. This item is very, very delicate. The father says, Yalla, I'll buy it. He takes it home. They build for the son a platform in the room, like a stand, and they put the Chanukiah in the cabinet. And one day, during Cracksmas, the son is bored. He climbs up and touches the Chanukiah, and you know what happens next. The whole item falls down, the Chanukiah, the cabinet smashes, and the Chanukiah completely breaks. There's 1,000,000 pieces on the floor. And the boy's crying, Daddy, 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 Daddy. The father comes running up, what happened? Oh, it broke. So the father doesn't want to break his son. He said, we'll fix it. We'll fix it. So he bends down and starts to get the pieces together. He couldn't fix it. Yeah, Daddy, right? He couldn't fix it. So the father bends down, he's fixing, and he finds a note. He reads the note. He says, to whom it may concern, in Yiddish. I can't speak Yiddish, so let's imagine he said, to whom it may concern. To whom it may concern. My name is Moshe Chaim. I am imprisoned in Auschwitz. I cannot leave. Every day for 2 years I have collected stuff. I have exchanged food to get leather, wood, and copper and silver to build a Chanukiah to light on Hanukkah 8 days. I'm probably not going to survive this war. And if you find this Chanukiah, I beg of you, light the Chanukiah every Chanukkah Lilu Nishmati. And he writes on the note, Moshe Chaim ben Aaron Lev. The father reads that and he faints. The son, Joseph, sees the father on the floor. Mommy, he's dead. So mommy comes in. She gives him smelling salts, or gefilte fish, one or the other, right? And he wakes up. He says, honey, do you know who Moshe Chaim ben Aaron Lev is? My father. His father was Moser Nefesh in Auschwitz to find this, to build his Chanukiah. And the son abandoned Torah. He told his wife, I don't know about you, but right now I want to be Chozer B'Tshuvah. Do you want to be Chozer B'Tshuvah with me? She says, where you go, I go. The idea is that we have over here a wife, and she was a great wife. She always agreed with her husband, which is rare. Okay? She always agreed with her husband. But you know something? You're not supposed to always agree with your husband. If your husband wants to do something good, a mitzvah, push him, motivate him, remind him, inspire him. If he doesn't want to do something good, then don't okay honey, whatever you want. No, don't okay honey whenever you want, whatever you want when it's something bad. If your husband does not want to wake up in the morning for shacharit, yes, kick him out of bed. Maybe not every day, right? But if he says, I don't want to go to this place because I have these bad influences, I agree, don't go. In other words, the wife should not always agree, never agree. She should be smart enough to sometimes agree. This lady agreed to her husband both times. The first time she was wrong, the second time she was right. We have to understand, girls and boys, that we have to agree with each other to push each other to do Torah mitzvot. It's going to take too long. wanted to compare marriage to a ship. Marriage to a ship. By a ship, there are 3 types of ship. And we're going to choose which ship we want our marriage to be. The most accepted ship in marriage is a partnership. If you do, I do. If you help, I help. If you, I do. If I, you must do too. That's a partnership. In partnerships, people get along. They just don't love each other. In a partnership, the 2 partners get along. They like each other, but they don't love each other. That's a partnership. And he does his job, he does his job, and together they have a finished product. That's a partnership. We don't want marriage to be a partnership, because if it is, it's a very peaceful home, but there's no love. It's not vibrant. It's not exciting. It's not passionate. We don't want a partnership. There's another ship which is worse than a partnership. That's called a sinking ship. We don't want a situation where our marriage is sinking, that we can't get along, that we can't compromise, that we can't appreciate. We don't want a sinking ship. What do we want? We want our marriage to be a friendship. It's easy to compromise, relatively easy. Relatively easy to be appreciative. But to be able to make a friendship with our wives, to be able to make a friendship with our husbands, that is ever so hard. That's very, very hard. Because that means that sometimes you're going to have to go on a walk together. But I'm tired. I've been working all day. I don't want to go on a walk. Very normal. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I don't want to go on a walk. But you know something? If you want your marriage to be a friendship, you're going to have to make that effort and go on a walk. Once in a while, you have to go on vacation together. Not because, without the kids, not because you need gashmiut and you need to have a bit more luxuries. But you know why? Because that's how you build a friendship. Your wife is supposed to be your friend. Your husband is your friend. If our marriages are a friendship, then not only do we survive the marriage. Some people say, "Oh, Rabbi, I'm surviving my marriage." Marriage is not just a survival, it's a thriving. You have to date, you have to go out, date night, whatever it is. I always tell my boys that ask me that your marriage, pretend you're dating her. Boys, just you should know this, okay? Anyway, okay, you should know this. Boys, I'm going to tell a few secrets, but it's fine, right? Girls, boys, before they get married, they show off. They're always straight stomachs, number 1. 2, they brush their hair. 3, they have a shower. They brush their teeth. They wear perfume. They're looking like, wow, this guy's like so handsome. And then they get married. The guy has a stomach like mine. He doesn't shave much. He doesn't shower until Shabbat. He brushes the teeth only on Erev fast. And he's like walking around like a shloch. And I always tell my boys, pretend that you are dating your wife. And the wives, the same thing. I tell many, many people, you know, you go out to work and you dress like a princess. You dress like a princess. You put on high heels, you put on a skirt and perfume to attract half the world. Your wig is shiny. It's like you look like a queen. That's at work. That's in the street. That's at shul. You come back home. The wig. Goodbye to the wig. You put on a mitpachat, which has seen better days and nights. You wear a house coat, which probably could fit 17 grandmothers. And and you wear Crocs, you don't even fit with your housecoat, and you wonder why your husband looks the other way. So the answer is, this is the most for both sides. Boys, pretend you're dating. Girls, pretend you're at work. Because if you both dress properly to woo each other, to attract each other, marriage needs romance even after you're married. We all know how the Gemara calls a woman, right? Bayit. The Gemara calls the woman the Bayit. You know what Bayit stands for? Banim, children. Yofi, beauty. Make sure you're beautiful, make sure you're pretty. Takshitim, make sure you always buy her jewelry. Benny Yakubov has a nice jewelry store in Manhattan. Kedai, best prices. I want to end with a small joke. I could have spoken a lot more, but I'm getting tired. But I want to end with a small joke. Once there was a Jew, and that Jew was walking by the beach, and he sees like a pot, like a kettle. He picks it up, and all of a sudden a genie comes out. Aladdin, genie. You know what that means? Aladdin, genie. Okay, so all of you which are more frum, it's not a kettle, it's a Gemara, and Eliyahu Navi comes out and says to you, do you know who I am? No, I don't know who you are. My name is Eliyahu Navi. I want to give you, make a request. Whatever you request, I will give you. So the guy says, you know what? Every day I travel from Brooklyn to Manhattan. And it takes hours, bumper to bumper. There's always cars in the way. There's always I want to be able to create for me a highway. By the way, I always say that, people ask me, which was right, the English language or the American language? So I say, like we say tissue, you say Kleenex. We say Hoover, you say vacuum. We say rubbish, you say garbage. So who wins? Who is right? So I always tell my students, if you can answer this question, then I'm going to use garbage instead of rubbish for the rest of my life. Answer me this question. Why do you call where you drive the parkway Ocean Parkway? And why do you call where you park the driveway? You have an answer for that, Nathaniel? Don't think so. So, back to that original joke. In the original joke, we have the situation where the man tells Eliyahu Navi, build me a road. Build me a road. That will take me all the way from Brooklyn to Manhattan, no traffic, guaranteed parking. Eliyahu Navi says, do you think I construct roads? Ask me something else. So the husband says, you know what? The man says, you know what? Give me Shalom Bayit. Eliyahu Navi says, tell me, how many lanes do you want on that road? In other words, we think that the most amazing thing that we can have in our lives is fun, is money, fast cars, humongous houses. But you know what is our greatest asset? You know what is our greatest beracha? You know what is the beracha that brings a Shekhinah? Everybody wants a Shekhinah in the house. The Gemara says, Ish ve'isha, man and wife, Shalom Benehem, if they're at peace with each other, Shekhinah Benehem. I want to bless you all. If you're married, that your marriage takes on a level of thriving, of romance, of vibrance. And if you're not married, Be'ezrat Hashem, you should be able to pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that He finds you the right zivug, be'ito ubizmano, that you will have no questions, that you have no doubts, and you'll be able to say, this is the boy, this is the girl. Thank you, Hashem. Thank you all for coming.